Deep in the heart of southern Africa, hidden among rolling hills and thick savanna grass, stand the ruins of a city so advanced that when European explorers first laid eyes on it, they refused to believe it was built by African hands. They searched for another explanation. Phoenician traders, lost biblical kingdoms, anyone but the people who actually built it. They were wrong. And the truth behind these walls is far more remarkable than any myth they invented. This is Great Zimbabwe, a city of stone, raised without a single drop of mortar, its walls climbing over 30 feet into the sky, standing unbroken for more than 5 centuries. It was the beating heart of one of the most powerful trading empires Africa has ever known, and for generations the world tried to erase its true story. Construction began sometime in the 11th century, built by the ancestors of the Shona people. Over the following 400 years, it grew from a modest settlement into a sprawling metropolis. At its peak, an estimated 18,000 people called it home. Farmers, traders, craftsmen, soldiers, and royalty, all living within a network of stone enclosures unlike anything else built in the region before or since. At the center of it all rises the Great Enclosure, the largest ancient structure in all of sub-Saharan Africa. Its curved outer wall stretches over 800 feet, built from hundreds of thousands of cut granite blocks, each one shaped and fitted by hand, with such precision that the wall has stood for over 600 years, without mortar, without cement, without anything holding it together but the skill of the people who built it. But Great Zimbabwe was never isolated. It sat at the center of a vast trade network that stretched across oceans. Gold mined from the surrounding hills, ivory carved from elephant tusks, and cattle raised on the grasslands flowed outward from the city. In return, glass beads from India, delicate porcelain from China, and coins minted in the Middle East flowed in. Archaeologists digging through the ruins have uncovered artifacts from 3 different continents, undeniable proof that this African kingdom was deeply connected to the wider ancient world, trading as an equal, not a bystander. Ruling over it all was a king, who governed from an elevated stone compound known as the Hill Complex, watching over the city spread out below. And scattered throughout the ruins, archaeologists discovered something found nowhere else on Earth. Soapstone carvings of birds perched atop tall stone monoliths. Believed to represent royal ancestors or spiritual messengers, these bird sculptures are unique to Great Zimbabwe alone, a symbol so significant that it still appears today on the national flag of the country that took its name from these very ruins. When European colonizers first encountered Great Zimbabwe in the 19th century, they were confronted with an uncomfortable truth: a sophisticated, monumental stone city built by black Africans centuries before European arrival. Rather than accept this, many colonial historians manufactured elaborate theories, crediting the ruins to Phoenician sailors, the biblical Queen of Sheba, or any civilization other than the one that actually built it. This false narrative was taught for decades, printed in textbooks, and used to justify colonial rule. A deliberate erasure rooted not in evidence, but in the racism of the era. By the 15th century, Great Zimbabwe had begun to decline. Some historians believe the population had grown too large for the surrounding land to sustain. Others point to shifting trade routes, as gold and ivory markets moved elsewhere along the coast. Whatever the exact cause, the great capital was eventually abandoned, its people dispersing into smaller communities across the region. The full truth still debated by historians to this day. For centuries, the ruins sat quietly, their true history buried beneath layers of colonial denial. It wasn't until the 20th century that serious archaeological excavation began confirming what local oral traditions had insisted all along: that this was a purely African achievement, conceived, designed and built entirely by African hands for African rulers. The name of the ruins would go on to define an entire nation. In 1980, when the country finally gained independence, it chose to call itself Zimbabwe, reclaiming the name and the legacy that colonial powers had spent over a century trying to deny. Today, the walls of Great Zimbabwe still stand, weathered by 6 centuries of wind and rain, but unbroken. They rise silently from the grasslands, not just as ruins, but as a rebuttal, physical proof against every doubt, every denial, and every stolen narrative. A reminder that this was, and always will be, an African empire,